If you've received a collection notice from the IRS, owe $25,000 or more, or have unfiled tax returns, and are ready to solve this problem to avoid having your wages garnished, your bank account drained, and your life upended, and want to resolve it without going to the poorhouse or making payments for the rest of your life, then this short video will show you how to fix your tax problem even if you haven't filed for years, so you can eliminate IRS-induced stress, sleep better at night, and reclaim your life. Hello, my name is James Wade, owner and tax resolution specialist at Beacon Tax Advocates. I'm a Maine licensed tax attorney and CPA. My firm's sole focus is on helping people like you resolve their tax problems for the least amount legally possible. Like our client, a self-employed taxpayer who owed the IRS $875,000 in unpaid back taxes. We were able to settle his IRS tax debt for only $112,000, an 87% reduction. Or our client who had 3 years of unfiled taxes, which showed he would owe around $350,000. We were able to get him into an affordable payment plan and also have $70,000 in penalties abated. Now he could get his life back, and he no longer lives in fear of the IRS. Then there's my client who received a bill for $125,000 from the IRS due to an error by her payroll company. We filed a formal challenge to the IRS assessment and had the entire balance due removed. The fact is that the IRS is the most brutal collection agency in the country and can use that power to threaten your livelihood, cause relationship problems, and make your life a living hell. The fact is, having back tax problems is one of the most stressful things people can experience in their lives, and trying to ignore the problem, hoping it goes away, only makes it worse. My guess is you didn't intend to fall behind in paying your taxes, but one thing led to another. Soon you were so far behind that you didn't know what to do. Maybe you even prayed that the IRS didn't catch on. You are not alone. Thousands of good people, just like you, have a back tax problem and now have the IRS threatening them. What's sad is how that causes high levels of stress, anxiety, and even depression. People tell me they get sick to their stomach when they go to their mailbox. I know of loving relationships that have been torn apart because of the financial stress. And the weight of owing the IRS substantial back taxes can feel like an anvil around your neck, dragging you to the bottom of the ocean. Since you're watching this video, I know you want to resolve your back tax problem. You probably have done research online to find a solution. Maybe you've gone to the IRS website searching for answers. Maybe you've even contacted a local accountant but were told that they didn't handle this type of work. Maybe you wrote to the IRS explaining your situation but didn't get a response. Or you tried calling the IRS only to be put on hold forever and a day. Or worse, maybe you even contacted one of those national tax relief companies, bombarding the airwaves promising a fresh start, only to deal with a high-pressure salesperson who only cared about making a big commission. If you owe the IRS a substantial amount of money, but are frustrated and worried because you don't know what to do, who to trust, or what your next step should be, please listen carefully to what I'm about to say, because after helping people like you with significant tax problems, I can tell you that the number one reason people struggle to fix their problem is they lack an action plan for dealing with the IRS and getting their tax problem permanently resolved. Nearly everyone who I've talked to over the years has tried one or more haphazard ways to fix their problem, but ended up frustrated and even more stressed out. To fix your back tax problem and stop the IRS from harassing you, you need a step-by-step system that is proven to work 100% of the time. For example, a business client was facing a bank levy for over $100,000 in unpaid back payroll taxes. We used the system to get the levy released and set up a payment plan. We saved him from an embarrassing situation, allowed him to continue operating his business, and get his personal life back on track. So in the next few minutes, I'll share with you the exact three-step system I've used to help people solve even the most complicated and expensive tax problems. I promise that if you follow the system, you will fix your tax problem, stop IRS harassment, and get your life back, regardless of how dire you feel your situation is right now. Okay, the first step is to take control and stop ignoring the problem. Your tax problem isn't going away on its own. Ignoring the problem will only make it worse because you will owe more in taxes, interest, and penalties and dig yourself deeper into a hole. So the first step is to finally decide that you will do whatever it takes, without excuses, to resolve your back tax issue. As corny as it might sound, I encourage you to commit it in writing. Get a piece of paper and write, "I commit to myself and my family to do whatever it takes to resolve my tax problem." Sign and date it and put it somewhere you can see it daily. This simple first step will help you move from fear and worry to resolve and determination. Step 2 is to design the ideal offer that the IRS will accept so you can get a settlement or resolution. Winging it or hoping the IRS will suggest a plan that's best for you is a recipe for disaster. Remember that the IRS cares about what's best for them, not you. You don't want to negotiate with the IRS from a position of weakness by accepting whatever the IRS offers to just get it over with. While this might feel good temporarily, if you can't follow through and make the payments, you have broken a promise to the IRS, and as a result, will be in a worse position than when you started. You also don't want to negotiate with the IRS from a position of arrogance, demanding that you pay almost nothing. Now, yes, the goal is to pay the lowest amount possible, but making a ridiculously low ball offer to the IRS will show them that you aren't serious and force them to use their nearly unlimited power to collect every penny you owe, or, in the most serious, albeit rare cases, charge you with a tax crime. The offer you make the IRS is a serious matter that you need to carefully think through. Depending on your situation, some strategies include paying small amounts over time until the clock runs out for the IRS to collect it, asking for a reduction in penalties, offering a lump sum payment in exchange for a settlement of what is owed, or proving hardship status to reduce, and in some cases greatly reduce, your liability. Often a combination of these strategies will work best, so having a well thought out plan is mission critical before negotiating with the IRS. Assuming you have the correct strategy, step 3 is to powerfully and persuasively present your offer to the IRS. Here are some crucial things you need to know about that. Be prepared to wait on hold for up to 3 or 4 hours when you call the IRS. When you finally reach someone, don't be surprised if they act friendly, but as we've discussed, they're not concerned about what's best for you. Expect the IRS agent to grill you with detailed financial and technical questions you must know the answer to. Likely, the IRS agent will tell you that you can make unaffordable payments until your tax debt is paid in full. If you tell them that you can't afford those payments, the agent will, in most cases, tell you, "Fine, we'll just garnish your wages and start taking money from your bank account in the next 30 days. Please listen carefully. Knowing what to say, what not to say, and how to talk to the IRS is almost as important as the plan you designed before calling them. Saying the wrong things or the right things in the wrong way can derail the entire negotiation and put you in a weak position. So let me share with you some tips when talking to the IRS. First, as we discussed before, have a plan and know what you want. If you go into the negotiation unprepared, you'll be eaten alive and forced to accept their plan, which will not benefit you. I suggest role-playing with your spouse or a friend before you make the call. Doing so should increase your confidence level. Second, when you finally connect with an IRS agent, speak with respect and humility. Do not have the attitude of speaking with an adversary you're trying to defeat. This adversary is more powerful and has more weapons at their disposal than you. Third, a little-known negotiating strategy is to accept total responsibility for your tax problem. The IRS talks to thousands of people daily who accept no responsibility and who are adversarial. Humility and kindness goes a long way. Finally, the IRS agent will listen and then ask for specifics and possibly some documentation. You must have that information on hand and not ask if you can call back later. While in most cases the IRS will agree to that, your goal should be to reach an agreement on your first call. You can't do that unless you're prepared and have all your ducks in a row. If you do everything right, you'll reach a resolution and you'll be done. So in closing, we've discussed what can happen if your IRS problem isn't fixed, what you should and shouldn't do, and a high-level overview of the system for talking to the IRS and fixing your tax problem. While my three-step system looks simple on the surface, as with any powerful process, many more details are hidden under the hood. You could try to figure out everything and take your chances with the IRS on your own, or you can work with someone who already knows the ins and outs of the IRS maze and can fix your problem for you as efficiently and effectively as possible for the lowest amount allowed by law. And that's what we do for our clients who are ready to resolve their tax problems once and for all. So they can stop worrying and sleepless nights, never fear going to the mailbox again, and get back to enjoying their life. If that sounds like you and you're 100% serious about resolving your tax problem, so you can start enjoying life again without the stress of having a tax debt hovering over your head, we should talk, because my mission is to help people like you who owe the IRS a substantial amount of money and are committed to fixing their problem, accomplishing their goal, and reclaiming their lives. If that sounds like you, click the Schedule Your Tax Relief Strategy Call button you see on your screen. We'll talk about your situation, and I'll share with you what needs to be done to resolve it most favorably for you. As I mentioned earlier, I'm a licensed tax professional who has been doing this for years. I will diagnose your problem and tell you how to fix it. At the end of our call, you'll make one of two decisions. If you want to work with us to fix your back tax problem, that's great. If you decide we're not a good fit, that's fine too. Please understand that the tax relief strategy session is for people who owe the IRS a substantial amount of money and are deadly serious about fixing that problem. If you owe the IRS less than $25,000, I recommend you find a way to pay them and be done with it. The strategy session is for folks that have a more substantial problem, are sick and tired of worrying about it, and want to solve it immediately. Quite frankly, it's for people who are willing to invest to solve their back tax problems and get their lives back. This strategy session is not for people who won't accept responsibility for their circumstances, who are just gathering information in hopes of finding a cheap way to solve a difficult problem. The strategy session is for people who are ready to take the bull by the horns and resolve their tax problem instead of just thinking about it. This action taker and not excuse maker mentality is the type of person I love to help and describes my very best clients who get tremendous results. If that sounds like you, I'd love to help you. The next step is to click the button you see on the screen and schedule your strategy session call. If you're ready, the time for us to talk is now for two reasons. First is that the IRS doesn't play games. The longer you wait to fix the problem, the worse it gets. The second reason is that I work with a limited number of clients per month, so they get my focused attention. So if you're ready, click the button below and apply for a tax relief strategy session right now. Thank you, and hope to talk to you soon.